Hello everybody, my name is Jason McLaughlin. I'm Executive Director at Weight House. So Weight House is a very special program. It was developed in 2003 by a group of local business people who saw the need to address youth homelessness in Warren and Washington County. The Weight House is a runaway and homeless youth organization. We work with runaway and homeless youth throughout Warren, Washington, Saratoga, Hamilton counties. We provide emergency crisis shelter for youth, and we have a transitional living program for parenting and pregnant teens. We also operate a family opportunity center, which does a variety of different things: youth peer support, family peer support, clinical social work services, care management services, short-term case management. And really our goal is to attack youth homelessness at every angle. So we offer a variety of different programming, such as parenting classes, life skills classes, financial literacy classes, nutrition classes. We also work with foster youth in Warren County, and we do a lot of anti-human trafficking work in Warren County as well. We do that with street outreach, and we do that to educate the community that human trafficking is happening here in our community. Weight House has impacted so many youth in our community throughout the years. We just celebrated 22 years in the community. We have countless stories of youth who have really built independence coming into our programs. Most of our youth that we see have experienced significant trauma. So we work really hard to address that trauma. In addition to that, our housing program was able to house individuals coming through our transitional living program to independence, to live on their own in their own apartment, to be valuable members of our community. And that's what we really try to instill in our youth, is that they matter to us, they matter to our community, they matter to this town, they matter to the city of Glens Falls and to Warren County. Some of the stories that I like to share are, our young moms who raised their kids for 2 years at the Weight House. Sometimes they become like family because we've seen the child being born, and then we have 2 years with them. But having them move into their own place, their first apartment, and thriving in the community, going back to school, getting jobs, it's truly amazing to witness. But also what I'm very proud of is that we have many staff members who have been through our shelter program who are now working for us and giving back to the community, which is truly amazing. And some of those individuals are in leadership positions. We have one individual who is currently working on their social work degree and came to us as a young mom. And just the story of resilience and empowerment is just incredible. So those are the things that I'm really proud of. And when I see our kids who have been through the shelter and they're excited to see me, to tell me how well they're doing, that makes it all worthwhile for me. So the Weight House is more than a shelter. We have what we call wraparound services. So we have our social worker who can do a clinical piece, and that gets down to the root cause of trauma. Our youth peer support specialists and our family peer support specialists work with the family structure and the youth for reunification. But a lot of people don't know that we have a lot of oversight. We work with the Office of Family and Children's Services in New York State. We work with the Office of Mental Health, the Department of Health, the Office of Temporary Assistance and Disabilities. So we do a lot of work in the community outside of the shelter work. We do statewide work with runaway and homeless youth. I am the board chair for the Runaway and Homeless Youth Advisory Committee for New York State. So we communicate very well with other youth organizations throughout the state to see what we can do to help combat youth homelessness. And I think that's something the community really doesn't know, how in depth the Weight House really goes. I was a homeless youth myself. I was asked to leave my home when I was 15 years old. It was by the grace of the community and grace of God that I made it through. I joined the military when I was 17, and that got me started on a journey of recovery. I can't say that I know exactly what our homeless youth are going through today, because it's much different than when I was their age. But I do understand the feeling of being homeless at a young age, and that disconnect from the community that I so desperately needed at that time. So that's really what keeps me motivated and keeps me going. Is when I talk to some of the youth, I hear my own story in their voices, and It's something I really didn't realize until after I started this job, that, yeah, their story is my story. So I think it's quite amazing how we are used as human beings to take our pain and use it for good, and no pain is wasted. The kids, the community. I love collaborating with other community partners. I love seeing the kids. I love seeing the staff excited about the work that they do. Our team at the Waite House, I call them warriors. They are warriors in our community. They get up every morning and they do the difficult work. Working with youth, yes, it is rewarding, but it's also very challenging. It is a very difficult population to work with. So when I get out of bed in the morning, my motivation is to come and to help this community thrive, help our youth thrive, to be valuable members of our community. And it's so important that they see that there is a way out. When I share my story of being a homeless youth with our kids, they're looking at me and they can't quite wrap their head around it, because here I am, a middle-aged man running a youth shelter, and they're very surprised often when I tell them that I was actually a homeless youth myself. So using my experience in the past is really what gets me out of bed first thing in the morning, and gets me to work early. And I'm excited every day, and I feel very blessed and fortunate to be in this position. I love that I'm able to give back. I love that I'm able to use the empathy that I've been born with to use as good. I love that I can use my past experience for good. I love the opportunity just to be part of this community. Growing up as a homeless youth, it didn't feel like I was part of a community, and being in this position really gives me the opportunity to feel like I'm contributing to our community and contributing to the well-being of our families and youth that we serve. I was working as a KSAC. I worked for Glenswells Hospital for many years, a decade, and we had a contract position for Washington County Social Services, so I was the agency KSAC from there. Working as a KSAC, you don't make a whole lot of money, so I decided to pick up a part-time job on the weekends, and through that part-time job, I met a person named Cassie Segrell, who worked at the Waite House, and through our communication, she had mentioned to me that the executive director had put in her resignation, and she felt that I was going to be a good fit for the job. I wasn't really interested at the time. I really liked doing KSAC work, but I put in my application, and I got a call from the president of the board of Waite House, and I sat on an interview, and it was about an hour long, and the interview itself felt like I was right at home. I got off the interview and said, there's no way I'm not getting this job. That's how well it went. And later that evening, I got the call and was offered the position. And again, I believe that I was put in this spot for a reason, and people come into our lives for a reason. But I owe it to Cassie. You know, that God made that connection with us and put us together, and here we are. Coolest thing I've achieved so far with the Waite House, I think, was given the opportunity to be keynote speaker at the Runaway and Homeless Youth Conference last year to talk about restorative practices and our restorative approach. We implemented restorative practices about 4 years ago, and it's really changed how we operate at the Waite House. And to be able to speak to providers throughout the state on the big stage to share our experiences was invaluable. And through that conversation, through that speaking opportunity, the Office of Family and Children's Services are very interested in making our restorative approach best practices for the state. So I'm very proud of that work, and very proud that we're moving forward in that direction. And also very proud that the Office of Family and Children's Services saw the value in what we're doing here at the Waite House. So being recognized on a state level as one of the best runaway and homeless youth organizations in the state is a great accomplishment. I don't have a job first. Not one that I could say on camera anyway. One of the quotes that really motivates me, and it's not an exact quote, but where the direction your mind goes, so does your life. And I believe that to be true. I believe that our thoughts have a lot of power, and what we put into our brains and our minds has a lot of power and influence. So that quote sticks with me on a daily basis, knowing that how I'm thinking on a daily basis affects the decisions that I make. It affects how the staff perceives me. It affects how the kids perceive me. So thinking positively really helps me through the day-to-day stressors of being an executive director for a Runaway and Homeless Youth Coalition. I think the best piece of advice is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. That always is priority. When you work in the field of human services, whether it's with runaway and homeless youth or the aging population, it is stressful work. So self-care and wellness is always the priority. And that came from my mentor, Sue McManus. She is the executive director for our employee assistance program. And I've always taken that to heart. So if I'm not at work, I am doing self-care, and I love doing self-care. And I think that that shows in the way that I handle stress, the way that I handle difficult situations. Without self-care, I wouldn't be able to do that. And we've actually taken it a step further and have put self-care in all of our job descriptions. Get the word out. That's the biggest way we can support. The more awareness that we can bring to youth homelessness, to anti-trafficking, to the needs of our youth and our families and our community, the better. Let us help. Bringing awareness to our services is really what we need the most. Of course, donations are always appreciated. But what I always tell people is please just inform people that we're here and we're available to help our youth and our families. You are everything. We cannot do this without you. The dedication that you have to the White House has been invaluable. I'm humbled every day at the support that we get from this community. It's something that I do not take for granted and truly appreciate, and the White House would not be here without our donors, the support of this community.